says we cannot keep the feasts within our gates, with the exception of the third year, but we must gather outside of our gates at the place which is chosen and keep that feast with our brethren as it was intended. In Deuteronomy 16:5-6, it says, "You may not offer the Passover sacrifice within any of your towns which Yehovah your Elohim gives you, but at the place Yehovah your Elohim will choose to make his name dwell in it. There you shall offer the Passover sacrifice in the evening at the going down of the sun at the time you came out of Egypt." And as I said, the only exception to that is in the third year, in which the second tithe is given to the church. Then and only then can you keep the feast within your gates. Now, I know there's debate about some of the terminology used here, but we'll not get into all of the different aspects of that argument in this presentation. The second point is that we are not to appear empty-handed. We have to, before the first holy day, provide an offering to Yehovah, and that is our duty. Now, as James has brought out, back in the day, those offerings were made sometimes weeks in advance for the preparation of the feast. The animal sacrifices had to be sorted out so that the primary sacrifice could be chosen, and taking this, coming to the feast and not having your offering or waiting until after the holy day is unacceptable. We're told to provide the offering, and those offerings were made and they were used at the feast to provide for the attendees of the feast, provide for the Levitical priesthood. So it is incumbent upon all of us to come to the feast prepared, either having sent it in prior to leaving for the feast, or be prepared to provide that offering prior to the first holy day. In Deuteronomy 16:16-17, it says, 3 times a year all your males shall appear before Yehovah your Elohim at the place which he will choose, at the feast of unleavened bread, at the feast of weeks, at the feast of booths. They shall not appear before Yehovah empty-handed. Every man shall give as he is able, according to the blessing of Yehovah your Elohim, which he has given you. So we are to appear with the offering that is in accordance with the blessings that Yehovah has provided for us. And in order for us to do that, we obviously have to sit down and consider our situation. Many of us are blessed in different ways, and you can't always assign some sort of monetary value on that type of a blessing. Now, obviously, the offerings in this day and age tend to be money, but it's a personal thing between every one of us and our Maker, and we are not to sit in judgment of one another. We are not to, esteem one better than another just because they gave a more sizable offering. You can't buy your way into the kingdom by providing a big offering, and it's like I said, a personal thing that has to be derived based on your own heartfelt consideration and your relationship with your Maker. Part of the whole preparation of this feast is to consider the blessings that have been bestowed on you. And we can't just show up at Passover or any feast and write out a check and think that that's going to be the type of giving that our Father wants. And in keeping with the nature of Passover, we should be considering deeply what Yehovah has done for us and give an offering that is appropriate. We can't be irreverent in our approach, especially with this feast. Not giving a proper consideration to the offering could be considered irreverent. But we need to be careful. As we've been learning more and more over the last few years, we're going to be held accountable for every single thing that we do and say. So we have to We have to make sure that we mind our tongue. We are approaching our relationship with Yehovah in a proper manner. So what kind of mindset or attitude should we have towards the giving of an offering? We know that it's not what he desired. We know that it is a requirement based on the scriptures and the law that we see, but it isn't what our Father originally desired for us. And the offering that we provide is representative, at least, of the consideration that we've given to our relationship. And what I mean by that is that, again, it's a personal thing that we each have to go through. In 2 Corinthians 9:7, it says, each one must do as he has made up his mind, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. So, we're not to present our offerings to God reluctantly or under feelings of compulsion, but we have to give because we purpose it in our heart to do so. Our Father loves a cheerful giver, and He wants to see that kind of attitude from us. Not one of, oh yeah, here's my check, take it from me just like the government takes my taxes. That's not what He's looking for. So we need to be careful in our approach. We need to be thankful for the things that He does give us. The whole earth and all the creation is His. He says so, and He allows us to use it for our benefit. Now, we've grossly misused it over the millennia, and the planet is in a very run-down and uncared for state right now. But it is here for our benefit, and He allows us to use it, and all He asks for is a small portion of it back. So, we should be thankful for the fact that He loves us enough to provide this beautiful creation for us. Another aspect of offerings is the relationship we have with others. And as I said earlier, we do examine ourselves in the days building up to Passover. We examine our relationships with others, and we go to others as required and ask for forgiveness when needed. And we have to ensure that our relationships are proper before we attend this feast. In Matthew 5:22 through 24, it says, But I say to you that everyone who is angry with his brother shall be liable to judgment. Whoever insults his brother shall be liable to the council, and whoever says, you fool, shall be liable to the hell of fire. So if you are offering your gift at the altar, and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift before the altar and go. First be reconciled to your brother, then come and offer your gift. So, again, it's about the mindset and what's in your heart. You can't give a proper offering to Yehovah, our Elohim, if we have relationships that are in a state of disrepair. We have an obligation to go, be reconciled, and then come back and provide that offering. Because it's all about the state of mind and what's in your heart, not the outward show that many would place importance on. In Psalms 50 verse 23 it says, He who brings thanksgiving as his sacrifice honors me. To him who orders his way aright, I will show the salvation of God. And in Psalm 51:16 it says, For you have no delight in sacrifice. Were I to give a burnt offering, you would not be pleased. And in 51:17 it says, The sacrifice acceptable to God is a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. O God, thou wilt not despise. And then, it continues on throughout the Old Testament. In Proverbs 21:3 it says, To do righteousness and justice is more acceptable to Yehovah than sacrifice. And then over in Ecclesiastes 5:1 it says, Guard your steps when you go to the house of Elohim.